Hi and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is a horror movie review and I'll be having a look at Prowl. Now this is a vampire movie in the kind of the vein of 30 Days of Night. In fact, the vampires out of this movie look like they're pretty much straight from 30 Days of Night. Now this is on the After Dark kind of label and it's a very, very simple story. It basically involves a kind of group of young friends, sort of 18 to sort of 21. One of the kind of the main female character kind of wants to move out of her sort of small town, so she convinces a lot of her friends to kind of just go on basically kind of road trip, but she wants to kind of move to Chicago, and they end up getting sort of stranded and end up getting hitchhiking from this kind of sort of like a truck driver with a kind of a large lorry played by Bruce Payne, and they kind of go in the back of this this truck and end up in this kind of abandoned warehouse, not knowing kind of where they are. And it turns out this warehouse is basically full of said vampires, and essentially then it's just a kind of it turns into more of a kind of just a chase film where they try to escape as they get sort of picked off one by one. So that's all. It's a very simple premise, not really a lot to this movie. It does have a kind of twist towards the end of the movie, which I won't sort of spoil for you, which I personally think is a little bit silly, but you know, there you go. So, you know, what's it kind of like? It's kind of a, once it gets going, it's actually a very fast-paced sort of action horror film. And you know, the vampire effects, like I said, they kind of pretty much exactly the same as they looked at 30 Days of Night. So they're kind of quite vicious and sort of scary. They do have you know, a kind of human side to them, I suppose, or they can kind of look more human. They are a little bit inconsistent in the way they act, I have to say. It's kind of one of the issues I had with it. When all these kind of kids first go into this warehouse, there's kind of one or two of them that just seem to sort of are quite happy to sort of you know, take on this kind of group of young people. Yet when it whittles down to the kind of the last girl, seem to kind of like be afraid of her initially. And you know, the twist kind of comes into play before that actually happens. It doesn't really make sense. It's a little bit inconsistent. So it's not a bad movie. It's a little bit sort of unoriginal, I have to say. And I guess the other sort of main criticism I have you have here is that all the other characters, aside from the kind of the main girl, have really no personality whatsoever, and you kind of know that they're just simply cannon fodder because none of them have really been developed into anything other than just kind of forgettable, you know, just hardly any lines and stuff like that. So you just know that they're just going to get sort of killed off relatively quickly. And it's quite a dark and broody film. It's not too bad in regards to effects. The vampires look like they're kind of a little bit floaty sometimes, I have to say. They kind of scour up the walls a bit like Spider-Man, but some of the effects make them look like a kind of almost like weightlessness and kind of that they're kind of floating against the walls. And there's one really bad instance of green screen as well. But overall, it is a low budget film, so I try not to be too harsh on the kind of the effects side of things. The acting was pretty much okay for this kind of level of film. Nothing to write home about. I have to say the main character, I think her name's Amber, was a little bit unlikable, I have to be honest. So, you know, not particularly good as your kind of main protagonist. Overall, it wasn't a bad film, but I think it's just probably a slightly below average. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think? Leave me a comment. I will look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.